Once upon a time, in a faraway magical kingdom, there lived a princess. Her palace stood higher than the clouds, and her smile lit up the entire kingdom. But deep inside her heart, there was an emptiness. Her mother, the queen, had passed away when she was just a child. She had only one true friend, magical unicorn with golden wings. The princess called him Noori. Every night, Noori would sit with her on the palace roof and listen to stories. One day, they found an old book in the palace basement. It read, "What is lost from the heart can only return through a heart that shines with light." The princess set out on journey with Noori. Their first stop was the snowy mountains, where even the wind carried magic. There lived an old fairy who could hear the whispers of the heart. The fairy said, "Only when you feel someone else's pain, your own heart will begin to shine." The princess nodded and continued her journey. The next stop was dark forest, where light could only be found through the heart. In the forest, they found a small fairy crying. Her home had burned down. The princess gently lifted her and said, "You are not alone." That night, for the first time, the princess felt a little lighter in her heart. The next morning, she awoke with a new kind of magic. Her heart was glowing. From that day on, she decided to share her light with the world. One cold morning, when the mist covered the earth, the princess and Noori arrived in a small village. The streets were silent, and sadness lay deep in the villagers' eyes. Every corner whispered tales of sorrow. The princess looked closely at every face, tired, broken, but hiding silent stories in their eyes that reached deep into her heart. Tears welled up in her eyes, and her heart filled with deep compassion. From the depths of her heart, she spoke, "I am the light, a ray of hope in your darkness. I've come to make your pain my own." The villagers looked into her eyes and saw truth and love, and for a moment, they forgot all their pain. The princess held a golden orb of light in her hands, and not just glowing, but full of love, friendship, and the hope of life. She gave a small piece of this light to every villager, and it gently swallowed their pain. That night, she sat with them under the stars, listening to their old memories, soothing their sorrows with her warm smile. Noori used his magic to fill the night with sense of peace and love. By the first ray of sunlight, the entire village had come alive with joy. Colors spread like festival, smiles returned to faces, and shimmering ribbons danced in every hand. The princess twirled with joy. In that moment, she understood, true light isn't some magical thing, it comes from the heart. When one heart understands another's pain, only then does darkness begin to fade. She locked that light safely inside her heart. She made a promise, wherever there is sorrow, she will carry her light there. Her next journey was waiting, with new hopes and dreams, ready to turn every tear into a smile. Along every path, whenever she met sad soul, she offered a small piece of her light. Hope would sparkle in their eyes, and a new glow would bloom on their faces. In the end, her light no longer belonged to just her, it became a light for the entire world. Wherever sadness was found, the princess and Noori would appear, spreading light in the darkest corners and awakening a new dawn in every heart. In every town she visited, the princess left behind a small spark of light. Noori walked beside her, always carrying a quiet smile. One day, they met a weeping fairy who had forgotten her own light. The princess held her gently and said, "Your light was never lost." The fairy smiled, and the glow returned to her eyes. That night, for the first time, the princess felt proud of herself. She understood, real strength lies in sharing your light with others. Together, the princess and Noori vowed to carry that light to every corner of the world. Every heart that once held darkness now pulsed with soft, glowing light. And the story didn't end. because that light still hides somewhere, in you, in me, in all of us. If you liked this story, then comment which part of story you liked, and don't forget to share with friend and subscribe for more interested fairy tales.